You overcame the overwhelm, and now is your time to reset. That is why we created Leaders Lounge, to give you the tools you need not to just survive, but to thrive. We've assembled world-class presenters who are experts in both business and education to deliver you the best content possible right to your screen. Though pants are optional, time is limited, so register today for 4 powerful packed and strategy-stacked days and bonuses galore.
Well, hey, Chelsea, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am awesome. So we are live inside of a couple of different places. We're in the Leaders Lounge group. So for everyone who was in the Leaders Lounge last year, or all the people that have signed up, which by the way, I'm super excited. We already have 87 people signed up and the website just went live.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I know. So 87 people already grabbed their free ticket. And then at last check, I think we had like 9 or 10 that had already gotten into the VIP vault. So that's kind of cool.
Awesome. So there were some really amazing things in the VIP vault when I was scrolling through it the other day. Like really cool.
I know. Our speakers are awesome. So then we're also in my group, Beth Cannon Speaks, and we're in your group, Leyland Growth. So for everyone who is seeing you like outside of your box, because your people, obviously they know you, tell us about you and about your company and all the good stuff.
I'm an early education nerd. I mean, I've always been in early education. That's kind of my jam. I was a director for a long time, worked pretty much every role in a preschool that you could work. I worked it. And then I directed for a while. And then in August of 2020, the school that I was directing closed due to COVID. So I had been doing some consulting on the side. So I just kind of was like, sure, now's the time to do full-time consulting. So I just kind of slid on over into that. And now I do Leyland Growth full-time. And I work with education-related businesses. So anything, ed tech, charter schools, private schools, entrepreneurs, kind of all of that. Anything that's moving education forward, I'm down for that.
So when someone comes to you and says, okay, I've seen you, I've heard about you, like, what is your secret sauce? Like, what is the thing that you love to consult on when you're with a school?
I love mindset. I love growth mindset. I mean, I'm working with a school now, and they came to me pretty much saying our students are having a hard time with their scores, right? So we need to up them, but we really think that it's our team. We need to work on how our teams are working together. And that all comes back to mindset. And so I think so much of that relates back to that. And kind of my slogan is hashtag what could go wrong. And it's kind of like a slang version of
hashtag.
I know, but it's kind of a slang version of growth mindset. Like what could go wrong? Really, it's fine. We'll figure it out and we'll do it. And so that's my favorite, is to focus on, the mindset of it and how we're going to move forward and how it's based on relationship, really. Then everything else comes super easy after that.
Well, I agree with you. And by the way, we've got people that are like slowly coming in and joining us. So if you are joining us, we're on StreamYard. So give StreamYard permission so we can see your comment. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user. So say hello, say where you're from. We would love to kind of know who's on here. So that's cool. So Chelsea, when we first connected, what I did not know about you is that my company, Stretch and Grow, I've done Stretch and Grow, which is a kids enrichment program for 23 years, that you worked for another franchise owner before me.
I did. Yeah, like 2006, 2007. I worked for Stretch and Grow.
Were you in college?
No, I had already gotten my associates, and then I actually didn't get my bachelor's till 2019. I went back. I was kind of retroactive. I needed to get the bachelor's for the job that I was already doing.
Oh, wow.
So I was in between. I just got married, actually. So I was working for Stretch and Grow, and I shoved all those, hula hoops and pool noodles and all that in my little Honda Civic and hung out.
Oh, Prana's on. Hey, Prana. Do you know Prana Richards?
Yeah, we're linked on LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome. Prana's one of our speakers also, and she's incredible too. Like amazed at how this ECE world that, we would see each other at conferences.
Yeah.
And you were saying you heard me at a conference last year, and we connected on some things. It's just crazy how this world has kind of come together. And so the collaboration with other consultants and trainers and business owners has really just been kind of cool. And that's kind of where the summit came from, was we've got all these speakers out here. Last year, there was 0% chance anybody was getting together to do anything.
No.
And so, we kind of pulled it together. And what's kind of unique about it is it's not, Leaders Lounge is not necessarily an organization to where people buy memberships in the organization. It's just kind of a dream, basically, a dream to where we found all these amazing presenters, and we created this content and curriculum so everybody can bring their magic, their secret sauce. And so I want you to tell me, what are you going to be talking about at Leaders Lounge?
I'm talking about creating a round team, which kind of goes back to that growth mindset piece where there's no hierarchy. How are we all working in a collaborative manner, and creating more leaders, because the last thing you want to do as a leader is carry everything on your own, because you'll burn out. So how are you empowering your team and creating a space where everybody can kind of bring all of their really cool pieces? Like you were talking about, we have all of these really amazing people on our team that have all of these really amazing ideas. And how are we creating a space where they can all come together and bring them, And so that's kind of what we're talking about, having a team that's round instead of a team that's hierarchy. And that's what I had created at the school that I was at prior. And just the things that kind of organically grow out of that type of mindset or that type of structure was really cool to see.
Well, I have a confession. So when you were telling me about what you're going to talk about, I'm very much a visual learner, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a great idea. And so I'm going to share my screen really quick, because I kind of sort of cheated.
Kind of sort of cheated.
Well, I have not launched this out to my team, but I want to share my screen for just a minute, because I took your idea and I thought, okay, how can I make this really work for my team? So let me share my screen right here. I was like, okay, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Hang on. That's not it. Where's my round? Okay, here is my round. This is it. So,
oh my gosh.
I want to really see how this looks like, because you had talked about everything's going to center on the kids, right? And so what I said, okay, if everything centers on the kids, then our coaches, our coordinators, our directors, and our owners, we all have to work together, and we've got to get rid of this hierarchy. And so, the point and the joy of collaborating and communicating and making the kids at the center of everything we do. And so I am so excited to listen.
I love that so much. You just made my whole life. My whole life is good now. I'm done.
You're done. So you can retire. You can retire now.
Yeah, I'm done. We're just done.
Well, I'm telling you, I am a lifelong learner. I think, and I'm a teacher. I teach in everything I do, probably like you do. You started as a teacher, and now you're teaching teachers.
Yeah.
And, and same thing. I started as my first, of course, my first teaching job was the job when I was the boss of myself as a kid, playing school. Yes. And I was always the boss. I was always the teacher. Did you play school?
Totally. I had the smartest teddy bears that ever existed.
Well, I had 2 younger cousins, and I tried to make them submit to my authority. But
how did that go? Did it go okay?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But from there, and then when I was 17, I started teaching Greek fitness, and it just kind of evolved. And then I got out of college and became a teacher, and then of course started in Stretch and Grow years ago. But I love teaching, but I love learning, maybe even more than teaching. But I think that so many teachers, we learn things so that we can teach them to others.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And that's kind of one of the things that I talk about inside of this is there's no mountaintop, right? So we never arrive and we're done. It's always what's happening next, because the child is dynamic. The setting we're teaching in is dynamic. Nothing is ever static. So if we're going to continually teach children in the most research-based manner, then we need to be continually changing. So unfortunately, there's no mountaintop. You never arrive. You're welcome. I'm here to make your day.
Well, you said, what can go wrong? And you never arrive. You're a fan favorite now.
I know. I'm sorry.
But it's true.
Brenda said, what can go wrong? She follows me on LinkedIn. So I say that all the time. It's always on my stuff. And someone else, I can't see who it is. It just says, I got your LinkedIn request. I'm all for connecting. Woohoo.
Okay. Say who your name is, because like I said, we can't see you because of the way StreamYard kind of indexes all the comments. Unless you give them permission to say your name, it just tells us, who you are. So someone said Forever Learners. Yes, we are Forever Learners because we're teachers. And so I'm so excited for you to talk about the round team. So what day are you on? Are you day 2?
I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah, I think you're day 2. I think you're day 2. You're going to talk about round teams. And this is really going to be focused toward directors. Oh, hey, Rashawn. Rashawn is on too. She is also one of our speakers. Do you know Rashawn Webb? Have you had the pleasure?
No, I mean, I've been stalking some of the people on LinkedIn because that's my jam. So I've other than that, I only know a couple. A couple of them I was like, oh, I know them. But I don't know everybody. So I just stalked them. Is that okay?
Okay. So you're on LinkedIn a lot. So
that's
for everyone watching, what are some of the advantages as an early childhood, director, leader? What are some advantages of LinkedIn? Because I know so much we focus on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We don't focus as much on LinkedIn. So tell me about that.
I am stalking you, whoever you are. I don't know who you are, but I'm stalking you. If it's still Rashawn, that's true. So the thing about LinkedIn, there's kind of 2 pieces that I really like. Is it's less saturated. So you have more organic reach inside of LinkedIn than you do in other platforms. And also there's not a huge ECE presence or even an educator presence on LinkedIn. And so I love kind of proving the professionalism of ECE or education inside of that. And honestly, I really jumped into it in like June, July, August when my job was, gone. And everything that I do now, all of my clients, everything that happens comes from LinkedIn. I just love the community there. I don't know. That's kind of my biggest thing is I love the community on LinkedIn.
That's wonderful. And I've barely tapped my phone. I mean, of course, I've been on LinkedIn, for a long time, and everyone keeps saying LinkedIn, LinkedIn is where it's at. LinkedIn is where it's at, and Facebook just seems so easy because it seems like, and I have a Facebook group and it's literally the sweetest community ever because, mine is mostly faith. It's a faith-based and nonprofit. And that group kind of was born out of just this necessity when COVID hit.
Yeah.
No one had any idea what to do with all the stimulus stuff. No one had any idea. And I, because of the business side, because I'm also the Stretch and Grow corporate trainer. So another one of my teaching jobs. But, from the business perspective, we as a company had to really buckle down and figure out like, how are we going to survive? And what is all this stimulus? Luckily, a friend of mine that I had been in a mastermind with, her name is Jamie Troll. She has a group called Financial Literacy for Women Business Owners. And it was like, we just flocked to that to really understand. And so what was created was just this great group of course, mostly women, because that's mostly who is in the ECE community, but just, women coming together, helping each other, sharing resources. How are we going to survive this? What are we going to do? And it just became this amazing community. And so
I love seeing things organically grow out of just kind of the need for it. And then we feel the need and then they just grow and they're serving people like that. I love when those types of communities happen. It's always really cool.
So you mentioned that you were a director before and your school chose not to open. What school were you at?
I was at a school called Pathway Early Education Center in Colleyville, in Texas, here at a church.
Okay. So it was at a church. So the church made the decision not to open. Yeah. And I don't know what the percentages are, but I just know, like in my own Stretch and Grow business, we were in, 100 plus schools. Yeah. We had probably 20 that just did not open again. And don't know if they will open again.
Yeah. And that's kind of where this school is they don't know if they will reopen. And, it's hard. And especially when it's a church school and, there's all the different shared space and all those things that come with, that. And it's just challenging. And we were actually in the middle of completing our licensing. So we got so close. We had our initial permit. We just had 2 more inspections left and then everything just... And so if they redid it, they'd have to start all over. Somebody said 50% of centers closed.
Oh, man. That's
crazy.
Just, and those are childcare slots. So those are what are those mamas and daddies doing now?
Yeah.
Are they?
I've seen the stats on like women in the workforce has just plummeted because they're having to, fill the 50% of sinners that are no longer there.
Right. Well, and I just have to believe that it's going to come back. Like I have to believe, because I think that teaching is a calling, and especially working with littles is a calling. And of course, I love working with littles, but what I've come to really love, I wouldn't say even more, but just as much, is getting to pour into and nurture on the people who get to work with the littles.
I loved that part. I loved my team and getting to like bring them candy and do their trainings and tell them they're amazing and send them texts. I mean, I loved that. And, I don't have that now. And that's the first time that I've never had that. And it's really weird.
Well, I'm thankful I still have that, because like today I got to the Gap. For those of you guys who are looking for something to give to your teachers, the Gap has these really cute masks that are on sale. So I delivered masks to my team today.
I miss doing that.
Yeah, so just little things like that, little things like that are super fun. But what I'm hearing, is so much is that these directors, they are craving just constant messaging for, help me with my mindset, help me know I can do this, help me know I can make it through this, because I mean, on any given day, they don't even know. Like it's crazy train. It is crazy train. I walked into a center the other day just to kind of check on things. We can't really be in there a lot. So it's just hey, I'm just going to drop off something. Is everything going okay? And it was like, it's crazy train here today. We had 5 teachers that called in. We've got 1 class in quarantine. And so, it is crazy. And so, hopefully, having this leaders lounge will give them an opportunity to be able to, consume some of the content, process everything that's going on, and then take those nuggets and apply them at their center.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, is you just need someone to tell you got it, someone to come alongside you and, help you with your mindset and shift your focus, and then give you tiny pieces that you can take back. And it's very tangible and doable. And that, I know when I was directing, that was huge for me.
So if you could give us one little tip on mindset, what would be like just a mind-blowing little nugget that we could take away tonight to remember about the importance of mindset?
I feel like I already said it, because hashtag what could go wrong is pretty much the best mindset that you can walk in with. Because hear me out. Because the thing is, if you walk into a situation and there are so many things that could go wrong, and so many of them will go wrong. But if you walk in with that, what could go wrong? And then if it does, it's fine. We're going to figure it out. And then we're going to figure out the next thing from that. And we're going to grow from that and do better the next time. And it's just, growth mindset. I think that's the biggest piece of it. So that's my challenge. Just try that. Next time you're walking into a situation and you're like, oh my gosh, just start going, what could go wrong? It's fine.
It's gonna be fine. Well, and I've done a lot of training on mindset as well. Mindset and mental health, and of course, I'm sure you're familiar with Carol Dweck's work on growth versus fixed mindset. And of course, that's a super old book. But there's so many like free quizzes out there. So if you're watching and you're like, do I have a fixed mindset or do I have a growth mindset? I mean, you can just Google. They're quizzes. Google, do I have a growth or fixed mindset? And really think about, because I think when you're self-aware of what your mindset is, it really helps you to move into, okay, I have kind of some fixed mindset things going on here. And for me to really process and get to the next level, you kind of have to let go of some of those things. And it's just that constant bossing yourself around to remind yourself that
totally
you are. Right.
Well, it's true, because so much of what you're dealing with is how you're approaching it, how you're thinking about what your thought life around that situation looks like. So if you can clarify your thought life and, fight back a little bit against it and push yourself to that growth mindset, okay, what could go wrong? It's really going to be fine. We're going to figure this out. Then, so much of what you're dealing with changes.
Right. Because look what happened last year. The worst thing possible happened. What's the worst thing? You're going to completely shut down. I mean, unless you stuck around and did pandemic care, which I know a lot of people did, a lot of people that I know and love and respect, but they were certainly not unaffected by it, and I think they're the ones who are even probably the most tired, because, if your school shut down, you got to go home and you got to get on unemployment, or even if you didn't, access any of the stimulus, you had that break from the, from the day-to-day grind. And so, it's just that mindset going forward. So I'm super excited. You're going to get to talk about that. I cannot wait to hear even more. Like I said, I started that graph that I showed you guys, and then we're going to listen to I'm going to do your presentation. We're going to listen. I'm going to learn some more. I'm going to take some nuggets, and I'm really going to apply this because it makes so much sense to have around that. There's not hierarchy, and our teachers understand when we get that they're the talent. We're just the agent, right? We just
totally.
We just put them into those spaces and pray that they are going to use their God-given gifts to unleash into the world and love on those kids and love on those families. So
your round team made my whole life. I'm just so happy right now.
Good. I'm glad. Okay. I want to remind you guys. So Leaders Lounge doors are open right now. And there's also, if you go in and you haven't gotten your free ticket yet, there is a 20-minute fast action bonus, but it like literally goes away. There's this tech thing in it. If you do not get your VIP pass in 20 minutes, it goes away. But if you get it in 20 minutes and you get a director's pass, you get a free teacher's pass. So $37 for a free teacher's pass. So it's 24 hours for directors. And then the teacher package is 12 hours. So super good bonus if you grab that VIP at 20.
That's awesome. That's almost all the hours you need.
It's almost all the hours. And they're in everything too. I mean, they're in child development. I know Prana's going to do one on managing tantrums. Rashawn's going to talk about quality programming. And so 12 of those hours are in admin, like leadership, human resources. And then 12 of them are in, child development, health, safety, nutrition, learning, planning, curriculum systems. And so a super well-rounded conference. And it happens on February 22nd.
So close.
So I know. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight. And I will see you guys back. So tomorrow we've got two. We've got Vernon Mason Jr. Do you know Vernon Mason?
No, I don't.
He is a crack up. I mean, he's hilarious. He's hilarious. So he's super fun. And then Emma Tempest, who is the play coach.
Yes, I already stalked her today.
Oh, good. Crazy. Okay, awesome. Well, good night, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.